every same time.
Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. But Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that it needs to defend itself.
We're opening up with Ukraine. More guns, more weapons, more money.
That is all.
That's it. That's an opener.
That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now, my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. Come here, stand up. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk.
You guys hear that?
Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down. In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you were here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood. America stood strong, and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win.
He threw his cane in the sky. That ain't
as I've done
of Congress.
Ever since being elected to office. I ask all of you, without regard to party, to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office to defend against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child, but the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF. Guarantee it nationwide.
They brought her next to Jill.
Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. Thank you. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power.
What?
You're about to realize just how much you're right about that.
We get what you're trying to say, but the delivery was wrong. I feel
clearly.
No. Women's rights is what he was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with the women. They got mad votes and shit. That's what he was trying to say. I understood it. It didn't hit like he messed up the punchline.
Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
That one out.
If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again.
Tell me you're Republican without telling me you're Republican.
Folks,
Or no, those are the justices. I don't even think they're allowed to clap.
Back.
They just got to
I'm
look
here
there. They got to
tonight
stand
to show
supreme.
what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses. Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness.
Millions
President,
forced into
my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news, but in 1,000 cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told. So let's tell the story here. Tell it here and now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities. Building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. Investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot, and we leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's what America does. Folks, our inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will.
Yeah, future's still down 0.05.
More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft.
Oh, the landing is and will be soft.
Importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America,
he said the landing
where they belong.
Will be soft. He said it will be soft.
And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer storing. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my
That's a pretty big statement.
Including some Democrats as well in the past,
will be soft.
Failed to buy American. Not anymore.
We're going to have to walk it back tomorrow morning.
On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers. Creating good-paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than
Everybody
ever
who
before.
said, who owns the video?
During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree.
There's no way you get your one speech a year and you say the same shit. Come on, hit us with something new, baby.
In fact,
There's no way
My
we're
policies
talking
have
about
attracted
$100K a year working at a
$650
fab
billion
again.
in private sector
I feel like it's
investment
9 a.m. on a
in clean
weekend
energy,
right now.
advanced manufacturing,
And I have to go
creating
poop
tens
soon.
of thousands of jobs
So I'm
here
playing
in America.
Honestly, I'm getting tripped out right now. I feel like it's morning.
And
I
thanks.
just put them on, and I'm about to go take a shit.
And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new
prime
projects
time,
have been
dog?
announced all
Is it
across
prime
your
time?
communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. And if any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing
Wants money.
poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage. Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in family farms, because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know.
I
We're
love my
better
Secretary of
able
Farm
to
led by
stay in the
agriculture.
family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same.
He's confused why everyone's getting so excited. She's like, I'm on camera now. She's
Folks in
terrified.
Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being
That
left
girl into
behind,
weird shit. I
your
could
community is
tell.
moving forward again. Because
little
instead of
smirk
watching
and
auto
then seeing there,
jobs of the
nah.
future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sims, a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class.
I like how he had to make sure. They're not bad guys. That was a very aggressive clap. Why are they zooming in on her? She looks so mad.
I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. Woo! We keep going. Woo! That's America. Woo!
They definitely need me in the audience.
That's you, the American people. It's because of you
None of them
America's
clap.
coming
They're
back.
like, yeah,
It's because
that's
of
not
you
us.
our
We're all
future is
weird
bright. It's
elites.
because of you
A lot of money and
that
control
tonight
things.
we can proudly say the state
said
of
all
our
of you
union
to
is
stop
strong
clapping and
and
sat
getting
down.
stronger.
You heard it, right?
Tonight, I want to talk about the future of
Every
possibilities
time.
that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over And the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table.
Fucking corporations.
That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well.
Favorable for tax
when they
law.
do well, the poor go way up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it.
Bro, this is the same speech. That's crazy. Bro, this is like your marketing campaign.
With the law,
you're supposed to come out swinging, ready for the election.
Not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And I want to, but what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market.
You just see like half the noise coming. All the noise comes from half the crowd.
It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get an Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, well, even Moscow, probably.
You just said he's flying to Moscow.
Bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place.
What if it's sanctioned?
Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, it's still a very big deal.
Maybe some Bitcoin. Bitcoin moving a little bit more than this high. Bro, Nancy looks so hammered. Like, anytime I see her ass, bro.
Million of you
like, if you ever
can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing conditions.
Josh, you're on drugs or something. If you ever saw me, I would have that Nancy.
Many in this
you know what I'm saying?
Want to take
I would just have like a weird pile-on, like just like kind of like
Care
giggly, and then just like.
I'm not gonna let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before, and we'll stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. They enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady.
Is she qualified to run? Is heading up our research and development team. She has never worked in this field.
To pass my plan for $12 billion
done a
to
great
transfer
job.
women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home.
There you
Or
go.
trade up for a little more space.
See a little $400 a month stimmy for
Just
housing.
for 2 years.
Now we talking. Yeah, now you talking. Hit that election game. Nancy's like, fuck yeah.
And
I
my
have 20
administration
houses.
is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages.
Nancy be sitting down late and shit
When you
too.
refinance your home,
Nancy
you can
just there to
save
cheer.
$1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten, or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is. I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them, as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them. And I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to a good-paying job whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. When I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans, I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help after debt forgiveness get his own daughter to college.
Bro, this is not a real human. She does not react. She's
folks,
scaring
look.
me. He has a
Such
gun.
relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family.
Watch her.
While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise.
I mean, you are still president. You can do all of this right now. I'm just saying. I'll just throw that out there.
And by the way, the first
still
couple
got one
we
more
cut
year, Joey.
Deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans.
Not for real, though.
I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion.
No, I'm down with it.
I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share.
To this day, nobody has paid their fair share.
Look, I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? No. Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? No. I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay additional penny in federal tax.
Man. This was the OG.
Nobody, not one penny.
Remember when Florence McKay was freaking out?
And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that can be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse.
I mean, I agree. I haven't seen it.
I propose The minimum tax for
idea is
billionaires at
great.
25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family members. Imagine the future of home care and elder care.
Everyone was freaking out about the 400K.
And people living with disabilities.
Nothing has
So
happened.
they can stay in their homes and family caregivers
the
can
kicker.
finally get the pay they deserve.
That's the
Tonight,
whole point. This has
let's
been
all
something
agree once again
you have been
to
talked
stand
about
up for
for
seniors.
years, and it has not changed.
Many
at
of my
all.
friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you.
I will stop it. There you go. Hey, that's good. Yeah, there you go. Some
The working
Republicans
people.
getting up. They're like, yeah, fuck
The
you. I'm
working
standing
people
for
who
that.
built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do.
I will stop.
It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no. You guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was.
Well, that's crazy how his
Well, that's
forehead
good to hear.
wrinkles go to the
You're not
side
going
of
to
his
cut another
head.
$2 trillion
Like
for
I
the
can
super
see
wealthy.
it.
That's good to
That's
hear.
crazy. I've never seen that.
I'll protect and
Because I got
strengthen
those
Social
wrinkles
Security
on
and
the
make the
middle
wealthy
of
pay
my
their fair
forehead,
share.
but they don't go to the side like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Look.
he got waves on his forehead. I don't have those.
Too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations
You see, I
engaged in
still see
price
it on his
gouging and
temple.
deceptive pricing, from food to health care to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass
They
Bobby
love
Casey's
shrinkflation.
bill
They
and
love
stop
this.
this.
I feel like the old people,
really mean
the
it.
boomers, just discovered what shrinkflation is, and now they're telling everybody like it's a Facebook chain mail, and they're gonna get cursed 13 years if they don't tell every young kid about shrinkflation.
You probably all saw that commercial on
They just all discovered.
Snickers
They're
bar.
like, do you know?
You
they're giving you less
charge the
chips.
same amount, and you got about, I don't know,
But it's the
10%
same
fewer Snickers in
package.
it.
It's called shrinkflation.
Look,
I
I'm
know.
also getting rid of junk
Tell a
fees.
friend.
Those hidden
You got to
fees
get the word out.
at the end of your bill
Yeah,
that
this
are
is
there
big
without your
deal.
knowledge.
You're
My
getting
administration
duped.
announced we're cutting
They're
credit
duping
card
you.
late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection.
The fuck?
And that's more, a hell of a lot, like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating. Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers
Most
tell you
banks
the
are
total
near
price
52
up
guys.
front, so there are no surprises.
Biotech
matters.
and healthcare companies.
It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now. What are you against?
The Republicans. They were just beefing. Look at this squad. They're all smiling, clapping.
100 more high-tech drug
She don't know how
detection
to clap.
machines
She just
to
smacking her
significantly
hands
increase the ability
together.
to screen and stop vehicles smuggling
like my
fentanyl
nephew
into
clapping.
America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read.
I swear I just heard a brrr. I know you know how to read.
I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far.
He's trying to call someone out.
I'm told my
He's
predecessor
staring
called members
at
of
someone.
Congress and the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really.
What? He just said, I'll be a winner, not really. And then what did they just say to him?
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? What? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. What? But look, if we change the dynamic at the border,
This is really bad.
people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across
This
the
just
border
went from-
because they know
He just said,
if they
"I
get
can't
by,
win."
if they get by
He said,
and
your
let
daughter
into the
got
country,
killed by an
it's
illegal,
6
will
to 8
thousands
years before
die
they
from
have a hearing,
non-illegals.
and it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 months,
Got him
6
off
weeks,
his vibe. That
the
little
idea
talkback.
is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks,
That killed the momentum
I
a
would
little.
respectfully suggest my Republican
Jeez,
friends owe it
that
to the
was
American
weird.
people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
Don't interact with the crowd, though. Don't interact with them, Biden. They threw you off. See, she don't know how to clap. I'm just saying, every other clap looks more orderly. That clap is like...
And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics
Weird observation.
and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together, but that's what he apparently here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families.
He's going to say this? I will not say they're... Oh, he's talking about the
I will
immigrants.
not
I thought he was talking about Republicans.
ban people
Maybe like
because
they're
of their
awful.
faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, and so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere.
He just brought up a
But
girl
we're
by
all
name who got
Americans.
murdered and was like, listen, thousands of other people got murdered in a similar but different way. So it's all good.
Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it.
You like brought up her name tag just to say,
I'm ready to fix it.
yo, thousands get murdered by
Send me the
non-illegals.
border bill now.
That's some shit my dad would say, like thinking it's a good point. I'm like, no, sir, it's not.
A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him.
That's crazy.
But joining us tonight,
What if Donald Trump said that during the whole, like, police riot?
are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor,
Somebody got killed by the
including Betty
police.
Mae Fikes,
But
known
thousands
as
of
the
other
voice
people
of
every day
Selma.
get killed by
the
non-police.
daughter of gospel singers and
We have to
preachers.
take that chance
She
to
sang
protect
songs
ourselves.
of prayer and protest on that bloody
Say
Sunday
Donald.
to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here. But if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Someone's trying to get a chant going.
And stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back.
The message to transgender.
Pass the PRO Act.
I got your
For
back.
workers' rights.
Bro, if he puts his hands apart, they
Raise
like
the federal minimum
glitch out
wage.
low key.
Because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour.
How do we go from transgender to fucking minimum wage? The fuck just
We're also
happened?
making history by confronting the climate crisis.
And now we're on the climate?
I don't think any of
I
you
thought we
think
just
we're
had
no
the
longer in the climate
transgenders'
crisis.
backs.
At least I hope you don't.
Oh my gosh, bro, this place is.
I'm taking the
thing
most
is going
significant
quick,
action
man.
ever on climate in the history of the world.
He's going from transgender to $7
I'm
an
cutting
hour
our
about
carbon
the
emissions
climate.
in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy
We're still on
jobs like
climate.
the IBW
Just
workers
as an
building and
update.
installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking
Spy down
action on
0.06.
environmental justice fence-line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And pattern after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put
Still on climate,
20,000
that's
young
good.
people to work
I thought he was
in the
switching
forefront of our
topics. I
clean
thought he
energy
was like,
future. I'll triple that number in a decade.
You only get 4 years. I'm just saying. I don't want to be that guy. I like the dress.
To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up.
What did you just say?
The biggest increase in history.
What?
It was then, through my
He's just
American
fucking
Rescue
silent,
Plan,
some
which every
fool.
American voted
Some
against,
dude
I
just
might
got a
add.
sock in the
We
mouth.
made the largest investment
That's how they do
in
it.
public
The
safety
Secret
ever.
Service.
Last year, the
Got
murder
to him
rate
by
saw
the
the
door, and they
sharpest
just
decrease in
stick
history.
Like a balled up sock
Violent
in his
crime
mouth. That's it.
fell to one of its lowest
I have
levels
no
in more
idea
than
what he was
50
saying.
years. But we have more to do.
That reminded
Let's
me,
help
though, I'm
cities
not gonna
invest
lie.
in
I
more
feel like
community
that's,
police officers.
in my mind, that's
more
how I
mental health
envision the
workers,
Chads when I'm
more
playing
community
press
violence
briefing.
intervention.
Like, you know, when I
Give
play
communities
press
the tool
briefing
to
and some of
crack
y'all go
down
off
on
the
gun
rails.
crime,
Yeah,
retail crime, and carjacking.
That's how I feel.
Keep
like
building trust, as I've been doing, by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land.
Everyone moves on like nothing. And then like,
Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record. Take on crimes of domestic violence. I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America. There are other kinds of violence I want to stop. With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days.
I still can't believe he was like, dude, 1,000 other murders on illegal happened.
We heard their message, so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it. Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also We will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has a
fuck up the demands for a
excuse
ceasefire?
me. Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards, under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. This war
kill everybody and defend themselves.
has taken a greater toll
But
on
they
innocent
must
civilians than
protect
all
civilians.
previous wars in Gaza combined.
Everybody is dying.
More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed,
Everybody in every
most
war.
of whom are not
Dead
Hamas.
people.
Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children,
End
girls
all
and boys,
war.
also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. To the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time.
Both sides are adamantly against.
And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel. My entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president to visit Israel in wartime. But there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel. For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America's falling behind.
He did say soft landing.
They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that. I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. But there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. To train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. That's why the song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H, and remind us that we can do big things like end cancer as we know it, and we will. Let me close with this. Yay!
I'm about to go, bro. I'm getting tired. I'm sleepy.
I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsey, but I got to say a few more things.
Fuck.
I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while.
See, he jokes about
When you get
it.
to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever.
He could cure than
I
ever.
know
You see
the
that?
American
He's joking
story.
about it.
Again and
Dude's
again, I've
sharp
seen
as
the
a fucking
contest between
tack.
competing forces in the battle for the soul of our
Fuck
nation.
yeah. You made a joke
Between
about
those
how
who want
old
to
he
pull
is, you know
America
what I'm
back
saying?
to the
Like,
past,
you don't
those
do
who
that
want
if
to
you're
move
really
America
old.
into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president of our first black president. Now president to the first women vice
fuck
president.
This. I'm running for Senate, you guys. But y'all know the minute I get elected, I'm gonna make mad bucks, though. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying, though? Hit Senate, I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna get even mad richer off of it. You know, I'll drop some plays for y'all, though. You know what I'm saying? No lie. Though.
By the way, they didn't let me on the
like,
Senate
check my
elevators for
filing.
votes sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be
Not a
like, check
joke.
my disclosure, low key. I don't know.
I've been told I'm too old.
I'm here to serve the people. I don't
Whether
know
young or old,
why I
I've
just
always
bought $20
been
million
known- I've always known what
of
endures.
random
known our
infrastructure
North Star.
company.
The very idea of America is that we're all created equal. It deserves to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to
raise
that
taxes
idea.
on you. I get paid
We've
now.
never
you know what
walked
I'm saying?
away from it either.
I'm sorry. It's different.
And I
I'll be on
won't
the other
walk
team.
away from it now.
You know what I'm saying? I would join.
I'm optimistic.
And I'll be like, fuck that. Double up them taxes. I'll be like, let me get
I really
5%
am. I'm
in
optimistic,
perpetuity.
Nancy.
I'm trying to get a revenue split off of that. Yeah, I would. Why wouldn't I? I'll be like, I work for the government now.
My fellow
I
Americans,
gotta get some things done.
the issue facing our
He's
nation
not Kobe Bryant.
isn't how old we are.
Yes, it does.
It's how old are our ideas.
The fuck does that mean?
Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas.
What?
But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You need America, the land of possibilities.
You can't use ancient ideas.
You need a
just
vision
use
for the
ancient
future
people.
and what can and should be done.
This is awesome.
Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away.
Shut up,
I see a future.
Why don't you just go fucking vote for him and go to bed?
Where the middle class finally has a fair shot, and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes.
So I know you want billionaires to not get taxed.
I see a future.
You want them to get
where we
taxed. So
save
go
the
vote.
planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence.
This is why you got banned on the other
Above
channel.
all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe you're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. Who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
There it is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow. Thank you. All right, that's it. That's it, Chad. There's no questions? I think that's it. He's just going to walk out. Bum, bum, ba-dum. All right, Chadadonia. Well, sadly, he brought up a couple of things. He did bring up, he talked a little bit about weed there, but he talked about a little stimulus that they wanted to do for some real estate. Other than that, though, man, unfortunately, it was the same speech that you have heard before. I don't think there was anything too new. There was a little bit of drama. He spoke pretty good, though. I mean, a lot less fuck-ups than what you're normally used to. But all in all, man, not too bad. Not too bad. I don't think market reaction. It's all about tomorrow and now. Chadadonia, I'm going to have to go, okay? I'm going to have to go, but I do still have plays. So if you guys go and watch the recap until Biden started speaking, we did cover already what we are waiting for tomorrow. So if you were looking for that watch list, we already had it here. So make sure we see you guys tomorrow live in the morning, 1 hour before the bell. I will be live, but I do got plays for you. So number one, IoT, we flipped out of this. We got like 1,300, could have made like $2,000. I'm going to watch this, may double dip on this tomorrow. That's play number one. Play number two, the weed stocks. I'm still in them. I got clapped. I want to see if there's a pump off of it, but other than that, I'm going to look for the low $7 to average down. And then the final play is Marvel. I was going to play big on this one, and I didn't. I'm glad they had good earnings, bad guidance, and then they're in the middle. I would watch out for this one tomorrow morning. This might be our post-earnings continuation. But other than that, Chadadonia, I sold out of the Celsius play. We had another 1,000%er this week. Yeah. So believe it or not, we had one break in the 1,000%ers. Remember that one break, and then last week we had the end tap, and, well, I had the Celsius closed out from the week prior, or 2 weeks. So we did get another 1,000%er, but that's it, Chadadonia. We did our thing. We did our thing, man. We did our thing, but that's all. So it was a little late. I've already been on here for an hour and a half. Let me ask you guys this before I get going. Is there any questions? Do you have any questions about tomorrow? The plays or anything? I know usually I didn't think it would take that long. I thought we were going to be chilling for a little bit and then go back to our normal watch list with a little bit more time. I'm doing good, man. I hope you have fun. I didn't get angry at that last comment. No, I don't know if you guys like notice sometimes like when I be like cracking jokes and then if I like clap back at you, that's like kind of my character. Like aggressive Yosh is kind of like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually in a very beautiful mood here. I'm usually in an amazing mood before I go to bed. That's how I wake up so bright and beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I love y'all, man. God bless you all day, baby. Just know though. So, but like sometimes it's part of the character. Hurrah! Nah, we love you. I love you too, man. God bless you, man. Some of y'all joined up on this channel. You didn't have to. So don't get confused if that membership don't show up on the other channel tomorrow. But either way, I love you. Is there any questions, man? If you got anything, you let me know. It's a great special watch list, man. I don't think I'm going to stream the election live, but like I said, I think, I don't know if you have a group of Republican or Democratic friends, but, in the chat, we could share it all for everybody. It's fun. We get to watch these together, so it's good. My girlfriend didn't even watch this for me. I don't even think she knows who our president is, to be honest. So whatever, man. We'll figure it out. Any plays for next week? Nah, earnings are wrapping up. I didn't even do that many earnings plays. Like, we even got a Marvel put, so maybe that ends up working. But usually, I think earnings, we're going to probably have a breather for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then before you know it, it's going to be FedEx earnings and Nike right around the corner. Right around the corner, baby. The main economic topics are tomorrow morning non-farm payrolls. I will give this to you because you're here live right now. The secret to the non-farms tomorrow. It's going to be very hard to read. I've been giving that disclaimer, given how the last non-farms move. No, the secret is average hourly earnings. So that's what you need for it. So, like, if tomorrow's in line, it's going to be hard to read regardless. But if average hourly earnings, wages, if those are higher or lower, that might be what tips you over the scales, bullish or bearish tomorrow. Or if anything is, like, at the money in line, the wages are the key. It is a wicked pro tip. I'm telling you. I've been paying attention, and if you haven't been, this is where you want to, like, pay attention to it, because literally the last jobs was a beat by 4 standard deviations, and the market went up, down, and then ripped up another 100, 200 points a couple days later, right? So that was a big beat. We didn't get that crazy reaction. And average hourly earnings was a big part of this on the negativity, even though we bounced up. But here's the deal. Last surprise non-farms, which was last month, average hourly earnings had the biggest jump in almost 2 years. It was the biggest since March of 2022. So that's why it's going to be so important for tomorrow, because we want to see if that sustains or not. That'll be very bad for inflation signals. And then here's your other cherry on top. The private payrolls, they came in lighter, and the quit rates dropped. So usually quit rates in private payrolls, those are more linked to average hourly earnings than anything else. So therefore, people are expecting a higher average hourly earnings based on the other data sets. So if it comes in lower, that'll be very good. If it comes in higher and even higher than the last month, then that could become a problem, especially if the other print ends up becoming a beat. Or like a huge beat. So there it is. There it is. That's your pro tip, bro. That's your pro tip for tomorrow morning. I'm glad you asked. I am glad that you asked, baby. I'm glad that you asked. Anything else? Anything else? Any other final questions, baby? I'll be there tomorrow morning. We'll be there live. So I'll be here live like same way I am now. I'm probably just going to have less of a voice because it'll be bright and early. Let's go. Calls on Josh. Shares of the code. Doubling down on the clapbacks. Much love, baby. Let's go. All right. Well, on that note, Chattadonia, IoT, I sold out, but I'm going to double dip on that tomorrow probably. I'm still looking for, I want 500 to 1,000 shares of Marvel, but it didn't move enough for me to pull the trigger after hours. I don't know if it's going to run back up. I want to see how it gets traded. I think Marvel is going to depend on the crackheads tomorrow because their guidance really wasn't good. I was going to buy more Vanny today, but instead I said I was going to go with Marvel, and then I ended up not grabbing Marvel because it didn't move enough. But I'm down with Vanny. Yeah, I'm still in Vanny. I'm waiting for a bigger average down. Here's the deal with Vanny. I plan to hold that for the next 3 to 6 months. The stock is going to have pops and drops. It'll get clapped all throughout. They've already dumped on that so far. They've already raised capital. But the whole idea of Vanny is that it is going to become a new Ozempic play. It's not going to turn into Eli Lilly, but the idea would be we get movements like VKTX. So that's what I'm keeping in mind. That's why the longer we wait, even if it goes down and we can make our big average down at a lower price, that would be ideal. But that's what I'm keeping in mind with that play. Same thing with PTN, but PTN has less exposure to GLP-1 because it's an additive drug. It's not like a actual weight loss drug. And then they already failed their other little study there. So there's another reason to hold that one. But Vanny, I really, really do like as the not no new Ozempic, but think VKTX. Like if you haven't seen, like we traded VKTX very, very early. Again, I sold out. I'm so mad. I sold out of VKTX in like the 19s. But like this is what I'm hoping that it becomes something like this, where you have your pop. They gave up some after going to like 20, then they gave it all up. But it just all depends on the run up. After their first pop, they never really like gave it up. That's the difference with VKTX, and they went from $2 to $8, then they held up. So it may take a couple of months there, but we're waiting on the next GLP update from them. That's all that matters. So yes. Bivy, I think Bivy got dumped on. Yeah, I made a small play on that one. I never really, even then, that play, I wasn't as confident in that one. I just did that as a pre-market flip. I didn't even alert that or anything because I wasn't even planning to hold it that long. I got a smaller position there, but I think Bivy's dead. We'll find out if it comes back, but Vanny, I'm like, I don't really even care about that one. I just think Vanny, we're going to wake up one day and either get lucky or the company goes bankrupt. But I think you have a way better shot of getting lucky on that as we, run into more data on whatever the fuck their rat drug has. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We will see. Would I add Nance to the long term? Is that the Nancy play? No, I would not. Not to the long term. NVO. I like it. I've always wanted, dude. I'm mad. I had 130 calls that expired last week. I'm so pissed. My literal NVO plays from earnings, we hit that damn play, and then right when that expired, it shoots up 9% and goes $5 in the money. Remember, we just had 130s on NVO. So I like it. I think if you want to FOMO anything, you FOMO Eli Lilly or NVO. I'd rather FOMO that than chips, but I've tried to flip them here and there. It's kind of, they move slow until they don't. But I do like NVO. I did not add iBit. No, I did not. I don't have any bit. I've never traded a Bitcoin ETF in my life. I've traded a Bitcoin future ETF. But yeah, MSOS, yeah, I put that on the plays here real quick. I said I'm going to average around low 7s. But I'm going to hold that shit until there's election news. Again, Biden talked about weed a little bit, not too crazy, but that's what I'm going to be looking at with that. Just low 7s, I'll average down again and then go from there. But yeah, I'm still in the weed play. Rivian, Rivian 1240, anything above 1240, it could recover earnings. I liked their little event today. I was actually pleasantly surprised. They offered a new car. They surprised everybody. Not everybody knew about it. And then they announced, like, it looks like they're working on a cheaper one. So that was all good news. CYTK, you need buyout news. That's all you need. Like Docu, think about Docu. That's buyout news, and we had a play, but we had a lot of time. So I think CYTK, I think we have a little time. No, we only have till March. Fuck. Yeah, if you have more time on that. But CYTK, that's just going to be driven by M&A headlines. I don't have any NVO shares, no. All right. On that note, Chattadonia, you don't have to wait too long. Oh, and then where is it? Watch this one for tomorrow morning. Watch Mira. But it's a weed stock. They have like a weed patent. Then they announce data, but I think it's up a little too much. But if this opens up low tomorrow, we'll see that in the AM. But Chattadonia, that's it, man. It's time to go. It's time to get out. I'm going to go to bed. Get me some rest. That is your watch list. Thank you all for being here. I really hope you enjoyed watching the State of the Union with me. I hope you are ready and prepared for tomorrow. And if not, I will see you tomorrow morning. I will be live, baby. But Chad, thank you all for your time this evening. I hope you have a great rest. I hope you wake up and drive. You got a good opportunity to go to sleep peaceful. I know I sound kind of crazy sometimes, but I hope my voice is peaceful so that you could go to bed and relax and be at ease. You know what I'm saying? Be good. Be easy. Be peaceful. Just imagine me hugging you, unless that crosses the line. If me hugging you crosses the line, then don't imagine that. But just go to bed peaceful, knowing you are blessed, okay? Amen, amen, amen. But Chad, wake up and drive tomorrow. I will see you later. That is your watch list. Horna. Let's go. Oh, we did it. We the call, baby. Amen. So, Chad, I love you. Have a wonderful evening and peace.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're playing some Kalista in the top lane, running Lethal Tempo, Triumph, Alacrity, Last Stand, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. We're going to go on-hit Kalista top with the newly buffed Terminus. This is going to give me Armor and Magic Resist plus Armor and Magic Resist Shred by on-hit stacking, and it stacks up faster now. It only needs 6 autos to stack up. And Kalista top is actually a super strong top laner to play because you can just kite your enemies, and people who don't respect you level 1 die. So yeah, if you pick this champion up and play her top lane, you can do that almost every game. And that's an Aurelia, a champion I
stay in that shit on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me, ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause something, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's name, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame. Yeah. Cash in the bag, baby I'm back. Born a rock star in this life, don't live it up on the attack. Baby I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, baby I'm back. Baby I'm bad, baby I'm bad. Bye.